you head over to Fox Sports, about 5 minutes after the NBA Finals ended, it wasn't 5 minutes after the NBA Finals ended, it was about 20 minutes after the NBA Finals ended. There starts the who should the Cavs trade Kevin Love for? And also Chris Broussard, but to be fair, Chris Broussard has been on the Cavs should go out and get Paul George since like the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna hold him against anything. Like it's not a new take, he's been saying it for a couple months now. But there are trades or trade rumors in place that would send Kevin Love to a variety of different places. The problem though that I have with a lot of the Kevin Love trades is I don't know how much better or if it makes them about the same. Like the Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony trade, I don't see how Carmelo Anthony makes the Cavs any better or worse than Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Like because we saw Kevin Love in the playoffs get hot. We've seen what he's capable of doing as the third guy, especially if he can hit his threes. The Cavs are already an isolation team. They're #1 in isolation, so Melo would love it, but that means you'd have three. You have Kyrie, LeBron, and Carmelo Anthony. You're talking like no ball movement whatsoever.
Yeah. Again, this is another repercussion of Kevin Durant. I'm blaming everything on Kevin Durant. But this is the thing, and I think that in the SI article that we looked at, it wasn't. They've kind of made a good statement in it where it's like, let's not trade Kevin Love because he sucks. Let's trade Kevin Love because when you match him up to the third best player, or you match him up to another 3 on the Golden State Warriors, like Kevin Durant's move calls for this. Because the thing with Kevin Love is when he's hot, he's going to be by far and away one of the best shooters in the league, and he's going to be a great player to have on your team. You're up there, but not by far and away. But he's up there with within the pack. But it's his inconsistency, and you can't afford inconsistency when you're competing against one of the greatest teams that people are already stating will be around in a super team. So what I think when I look at the Cavaliers, when you have LeBron James performing at that elite level and Kyrie Irving right there with him, is that I don't think you need someone who's of that superstar status next to you to get hot from 3 and take you to the next level. You just need someone that's going to be right there and consistent with you in dropping points and making sure that they are performing to the standard of what a Klay Thompson will do, or maybe last season, not so much this season, is that you're just offering another outlet, you're offering another form of defensive capabilities, and that's where I think someone like Paul George is more of a better asset to this, because yeah, he's a great scorer, he's an all-star, definitely a player in the league, but he's more consistent in my opinion, and he'll add another dynamic to that already dominant offense when you get Kyrie and LeBron working. So they have to do something, unfortunately, for next season, because the Golden State Warriors added a superstar player to an already 73-game winning team.
Wait, they did?
So that, and maybe you might have read it somewhere that Kevin Durant.
They're going to add Chris Paul too.
So I don't know what this is when I said that Kevin Durant's decision changed the whole landscape of the league. I wasn't just over exaggerating back then. It's because other teams are looking at that as, well, what do we have to do to compete with that? Because it's going to take something pretty special, and the Cavaliers already have 2 of the best players in the league. The depth is good enough, I think. It's just about
it's old and it's specialist. Like when their specialties do come through, for example, Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Well, yeah, sure, they can beat just about anybody on the planet. Combine anybody and they can beat them on the planet. The problem is they can't do that for 4 games against a team that, in the first half, the Warriors scored what, 70 twice, and then 2 games of or 3 games over 65 points in a half. That's like what my high school basketball team would score in the whole game and then add 2 quarters the next game in itself. 60 points, 65 points in a half. Where's the defense? But like Iman Shumpert, God, and I like Shumpert, the person. I think he's got to go. Richard Jefferson's he's too old, man. And
Kyle Korver.
And it crushed me to watch Richard Jefferson just brick open threes in the finals, and there was a lot of them. Darren Williams. Oh God, you need to leave.
Yeah.
Like, you need to leave the NBA. You need to go play with Jimmer Fredette over in China and just, make a new name for yourself, and everyone will love you there. There was a point where Darren Williams was a very good point guard, but that ship has sailed a long time ago. Kyle Korver is a specialist. I don't think he's a terrible person to have on your team, but again, he had some trouble with the finals pressure, I guess you want to call it, for a guy who's one of the best 3-point shooters of all time. When you get that designation for being one of the most efficient and best 3-point shooters in NBA's history, top 5, top 10, the finals pressure must have been what got to him, because the guy's been knocking down threes since he came into the league, and he's been doing it for 15 years. I'm not sure how long Kyle Korver's been in the league, but 10 years? We'll go with 10 to 15 years. My point being here is Paul George, I think, would make sense because at least he's going to bring in a third big body, a wing, a guy who can score. He can also play good defense. He's also more consistent than Kevin Love.
Yeah.
Like Paul George wouldn't average less than 18 or so points per game in the NBA Finals, even on a team with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Kevin Love was scoring 0 points and a half at times. So that's where I think it's fine. Carmelo Anthony, the only way that works is if he's gonna really buy into his BFF LeBron.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, and he still has any semblance of him thinking that it's gonna be his ring or his team, it's not gonna work. Now there's another trade that I think is insanity, but sure, I guess it would be okay. Our EP Dan would be maybe happy. Kyrie Irving and Eddie Tavares for Chris Paul in a signing trade. Look, he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Doesn't know about it.
But Kyrie's fun. He's 25 years old. He's still got his best basketball ahead of him. We know Chris Paul has about a year or two left of prime Chris Paul before he'll go down. So I mean, come on, Kyrie Irving, fan favorite. It'd be fun. It'd be really fun to go to all the Clippers games. It's already fun to go to.
You're probably wondering why I'm bringing up old Miami Heat rosters for their championship team, but
because they had old guys too.
But the thing is, but you mentioned the old specialist that they would bring from the bench. One, obviously, you're not competing against a team like what we're seeing right now with the Warriors, but you know that LeBron James likes, I think, to have that arsenal that he can bring from the bench, but you have to be able to trust him to be consistent. How many times did he bring, well, Mike Miller came into the game and would drop threes nonstop, or Shane Battier would get hot. And I just feel like it was more of a regular occurrence, and there was more trust in those players to come on and be able to elevate your team if they happen to be given that opportunity. The Golden State Warriors don't need that. They just need someone to come in and maintain that level. That's why Livingston's a perfect person to come in and play the point. That's why Iguodala is the best six man. Is the best six man to come in, and he can elevate your game as well.
Right, but that's a trustworthy thing too with Andre Iguodala. Like he's proved.
Yeah.
And as JR put it, and that's a very good point. He's a starter on almost every other, not almost every other team. I'd say like 26 or 27 other teams in the NBA. So you have that ability in itself. Plus the fact that in the finals, the guys come up huge at times. Yes, he did get blocked by James in 2016. But when you need someone to trust, there's a reason JaVale McGee was on the bench not seeing minutes in Game 5 to close out the series, and Andre Iguodala saw a ton of minutes.
Yeah.
He's one of the most productive bench players in the league, if not the most productive when it matters bench players.
Yeah.
It's no Jamal Crawford. But
so I think the Cavaliers can get rid of a lot of, I wouldn't say deadwood, because again, this is a team that these players that we're talking about removing were there last year and they helped them, but another year has moved on and another team has got phenomenally better. So yeah, you got to get rid of those players that aren't able to maintain a certain standard, add in some more depth to emulate that of what the Warriors are doing. And I think that Paul George would be a good asset to that team, whether or not he would look to that move if his heart isn't set on the Lakers. But again, it's like, if you're Paul George and you've seen Kevin Durant make that move, you think to yourself, all right, if I go to the Lakers, I'm probably going to wait another 3 or 4 years before I can even compete. And I need to continuously add more weapons to compete at that level. But that's just me thinking that these guys are ring chasing because that's what Kevin Durant has done to me now.
It's true. Kellerman made the best point recently when it came to, not the best, but it was very good, very strong, very valid. Talking about when people say like you can't compare what Kevin Durant did to LeBron James, and sure, you know, what LeBron left in Cleveland for Miami, go down this rabbit hole. But the point being, the point that Kellerman was making was that LeBron just showed the league the way and Kevin Durant upped the ante. So yes, it does still fall on LeBron, and before LeBron, it falls on the KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce getting all together. So there's just ways to up the ante. So what you might start seeing, which again would be to the fans' dismay, is sure, I think there will be rumors of Chris Paul joining the Cavaliers. Rumors. Paul George joining the Cavaliers. God forbid, Paul George joining the Golden State Warriors.
But how do you, if Chris Paul goes, how do you adjust that team Kyrie plays the two?
Have a really small backcourt, but yeah, Kyrie just becomes your
You become more like the Raptors make it work with DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, just, and because Kyrie Irving's so flexible.
Kyle Lowry to the Warriors, DeRozan to the Cavs.
Just break them all up. Let's just make 2 teams play an East versus West game. for the finals.
More teams. DeMarcus Cousins to the Cavs was another one on this list of things where I'm going like, I don't know.
Really? He's not even had time to even
see what happens in New Orleans, man.
He's not even had time to sit down with some. What's the trademark food in New Orleans again? It's the stuff with the crab in it, and it's really good, man.
Oh,
what's that?
Po' boys?
Is it jambalaya?
They have very good jambalaya there, and chili and any kind of
whatever. I've never been to New Orleans to eat their food. I want to go.
Comment below. Subscribe. Should Kevin Love be traded?